is there a way to determine if the closing price of the bar, right? So right there, that's the closing price of the bar. You know, is there a way to determine if that close is within like 33% or basically the bottom third of the bar, or is it, or, you know, did the close end up being, you know, at the top third of the bar, for example here. So let's see. So that would be the bottom third. And here we go. Yeah, that is probably the top third of the bar, right? So, right, so if we look at the closing price, right, as compared to the total bar length, you know, it looks like this bar here closed, the close is near the top third of the bar, right? And this one would be in the bottom third. You know, so is there a way to kind of determine that? You know, maybe you want to find candles where the closing price, you know, is at the top 25% or the top or the lower 25%, something like that, right? So, all right, so that was, you know, the question I had the other day, and I'm going to demonstrate a simple way to approximate that. So, right, so BloodHound can't do this exactly, but it can get you really, really close. And I'll explain why that is here in just a moment. But first, let me get today's workshop file going here. So with BloodHound open, right, we're going to hit the change button and put in today's file name. All right, so almost the last day of April here. All right, so there's the file name. So now all of our work in BloodHound, right, will get saved to this file here. Okay, so next I'm going to start working on the logic tab here so we can work on the logic board here. So let's see here. So there's a name for our logic template there to demonstrate this. And so to do, right, this comparison, right, basically we're comparing, you know, the closing price of the bar to, right, either the low price or the high price, right? We're trying to find out, you know, what position is that closing price within the bar as compared to the low or the high of the bar. So we're going to use a comparison solver here. Put that over here. There. And let's connect that up. And let's name this here. Okay, so there we go. So there's some kind of a name for this solver here. So we're looking to see or determine if the close, right, is at the top or bottom 33%. So let's see. So for input A here, we want that to be the closing price of the bar. So we're going to change the type to close, right? Or I'm sorry, change the type to price. And we can see the closing price is already set for us as the default there. All right, and input B is also going to be price type as well. But this is going to be the high or the low of the bar, right? So we can compare whether, you know, the close is near the bottom or near the top there. Now this is going to be set up a little backwards than you would probably think about it. So okay, so let's see. Let's get our signals determined first. So if the close is near it is within the bottom third of the bar, we'll generate a short signal, right? And if the close is near the top third of the bar, right, we'll generate a long signal. So, right, so a long signal is going to be, the close is going to be near the top third. However, when we do our input B for a long signal, we're actually going to compare it to the low price. And for this short signal here, right? So short signal is when the close is near the bottom third, but we're going to compare the close of the bar to the high to generate a short signal. So we're going to select the high price there. Right. So this is a little bit backwards, and the reason why is because of how the outputs work here, right? So we'll get into this in just a moment here, but it's, yeah, the reason why we're kind of reversing the way that we would think about this, right? Normally we would think, okay, so for a long signal, I want to compare the close to the high of the bar, right? That initially that's probably, is the first conclusion that we would jump to. But when we look at how the outputs work, right, we're looking to see if A is greater than B or if A is less than B, right? So is the closing price, greater than the low, or is it, is the closing price greater than the high, or is it less than the high? Or is the closing price, greater than the low or less than the low, right? So, because of the way, because of the types of comparisons that the outputs have, is the reason why we kind of have to reverse our thinking on this here. And this will become apparent here in just a moment here. So we need to get a few more things done here. So the next thing is we need to set up this distance here. Right? And so we're basically kind of doing a workaround, because again, to determine whether the close is within the top third or the bottom third, really that requires a mathematical formula, right? But of course, BloodHound is not a math indicator, right? That's what other indicators are for, right? Is to do that math. So, that's why I was saying earlier that to do this properly, you need a dedicated indicator to do that calculation properly. But what BloodHound can do here is in the difference section here, instead of measuring ticks, what we can do is we can use the ATR indicator function here and set it to an indicator period of 1, right? So an ATR 1 period. And so we're going to set both of these large amount and small amounts to a 1 period ATR, right? And we can close that out, right? So the ATR is kind of our workaround to determining or the ATR is our workaround for calculating the length of the bar, and that's why this will get you close, because the ATR formula uses the high, low, and closing price, right? So it's not exactly measuring the length of that bar, but it's getting us close. So, so the last step here is we need to put in the difference amount here. And so what we're going to do, so if we want to find, right, if you're looking for the closing price to be within, the top third or maybe the top quarter, right? So the top third would be 33%. So we're going to take 100% minus 33%, right? So what we're putting in here is the is the opposite percentage or the remaining percentage of what we're trying to find, right? So again, if we're trying to see if the bar is at the bottom third, then we're going to take 100 and minus a third, so that leaves us with 0.66 or 66%, right? Well, 68%. So it's 67%. There we go. Now, if we wanted to find the close within the bottom 25% or the bottom quarter, right? Or if the close is within the top quarter, then we would adjust that amount, right, to 75%, right? That's 3/4. Sorry, there we go. Right, so we would put in 75% or 0.75 if we wanted to find, within the bottom quarter or the top quarter, right? So again, you're just going to take, whatever, percentage or whatever fraction you're looking for, and subtract it from 100%, and that's what goes into the difference amount there, right? So let me put this back to 2/3 here. There. All right. So we're trying to find the close, within the top or bottom third of the bar. So we're going to put 2/3 in our distance amount. So now when we look at the output here, right, the way it reads is A greater than B? So what's A? A is the closing price. So is A greater than B? And what's B? B is the low of the bar, right? So in other words, so looking at for our long signal here, let's stretch this out, right? So we're saying, from the low of the bar is the close of the bar 2/3 of the way up, right, or more, right? So if we read this, is A greater than B? So A is the closing price, B is the low of the bar. Is the close greater than the low of the bar by 2/3 of the bar? Or, well, technically it's 2/3 of an ATR. So again, the ATR is not exactly the bar length because of the formula, but it's going to get you close enough, right? So close enough for trading, I guess. So, right. So, because of the way the outputs are set up, that's the reason why we kind of had to reverse a few things, right? So, for a long signal, right, we're comparing off of the low of the bar, when, intuitively you're probably thinking, oh, we should be comparing the close to the high of the bar, but we have to compare it to the low of the bar, and then our distance, right, it's going to be kind of the opposite amount of what we want to find, right? So if we want to find, the close within the top third, well, then since we're measuring from the bottom, well, we need to compare the close to the 2/3, right? The 2/3 opposite of that 1/3 amount. So, and yeah, as it just so happens, I guess I got lucky, and these two bars actually, these two bars here that I picked, the close was within the bottom third or the top third, right? And if we look through these, yeah, there we go. Oh, well, actually, this one here, it's kind of questionable. That looks like that close is a little bit less than the top third of that bar. And so again, that's because we are using the ATR formula, which is not exact, right, which is not exact. So this will get you in the ballpark, but if you want, precision, then you will need a dedicated indicator, that's actually properly calculating the bar length, from the high to the low, and getting that bar length, and then that's how you can, properly find if the close is, within the top third of that bar length or something, right? So, but yeah, looking at these others here, I mean, yeah, these two other bars, those look good. This one, yeah, I'd say that one looks correct. Obviously that one's correct. Let's see here. Yeah, this doji here, well, yeah, that one looks really close. That one's hard to tell. That one, yeah, the close is definitely within, the top third of that bar for sure. And actually, looking at this here, maybe you also might want to make sure that, if the close is within the top, portion of the bar, that you might want also to make sure that the bar is pointed in the right direction, right? So this is a down bar. So if you want to kind of remove a down bar, right, with this long output here, and then there. So let's see, do we have any others? Looks like that's the only bar where the bar direction is in the opposite of the signal. Let's see here. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, if we wanted to filter that one out, that's simply just a matter of adding a bar direction solver in there. We can just throw in a bar direction and then grab a AND node. There we go. Connect those two together. And there we go. So, there. So that one is removed. All right. Well, anyways, that was the quick little topic I had from earlier question this week to get us started.